back or to the channel. My name is Brendan, and this is Brendan's Outdoors. On today's adventure, we're heading east from San Francisco to the Sierra foothills of the Stanislaus National Forest. We're going to do some exploring and show you guys some of the updates I've made to the car camping setup since my unexpectedly popular How I Set Up My Car Camper video from a couple years ago, including a review of the Wheels Feels drawer system for my RAV4. Let's get out there. So, after packing the car, which takes forever, and then you forget a million things, and we're finally getting on the road. I don't know what it is about going on a trip where you've never been before. Like, not like, I mean like flying, you know, like when you're flying somewhere like to a city. When you're doing this, where you're like, oh, let me go to this spot on a map I've never been and go sleep in the woods. For me, there's always an initial nervousness about it, where, I don't know, it's like I guess it's the fear of the unknown, or, I don't know what it is, but it's like I always get really stressed out before I leave. Maybe it has something to do with all the packing. Like, I feel like I'm forgetting something, and then I invariably do. Like, I totally drove away today from the house, and I didn't even bring pillows to sleep on. Like, that would have sucked had I not noticed. But like, what else am I forgetting? You know, at least I got the dog. I got the dog. I got some dog food. I don't know, we'll figure it out. We live in America. America has things. This camping video was also going to include a tour of San Francisco, did you? Here we are in Chinatown, just a Broadway tunnel. Over there you can see the Bay Bridge. We were over at the Golden Gate Bridge earlier. Basically had to cross the city to get to the Bay Bridge so that we can get over to the East Bay and head out across the Central Valley towards like the Sierra foothills, basically. In the meantime, enjoy scenic San Francisco Chinatown from my car. Ah, hell with it, Doug. Maybe we should just go to the strip joint. Yeah? Or Tosca, maybe? Come, Douglas. It's time to leave the surly bonds of San Francisco and enter the nether regions known as Oakland. Things are different here in Pleasanton. Or, I don't know, how do you say Pleasant?
What you see me removing here are my window covers. A lot of people make these with Reflectix, and I have also made them with Reflectix, but I found them to be imperfect. So I went ahead and just bought a set from WeatherTech, which are laser cut and specific to my RAV4. They're silver on one side so they reflect light, and black on the other so they can absorb light during wintertime and keep the car insulated overnight while you're sleeping inside of it. When I'm not using them, I roll up the window ones and store them in my roof loft, and the one for the windshield just slides right underneath my mattress behind me.
Good boy. A little snack? ketchup. Off we go. Hi, buddy. Do you want some water? Good boy. Hey, leave it. Want some more water? A little snack? A sneaky snack? Chicken Ranch Casino Resort,
Finally, after stopping for gas and food and passing some of the local attractions along the way, we had made it to Pinecrest Lake. Even though it was really hot and later in the afternoon than I would have liked to start a potentially 6-mile hike, we started the trail to Cleo's bath along the side of Pinecrest Lake. The narrow trail wound in between summer homes and their private docks, and as we walked further and further in the 90-something degree heat, both Doug and I were really looking forward to getting into Cleo's bath. While the beginning of the trail had plenty of shade, this was the first time we were both exposed to the full sun, and we immediately hid behind this rock for shade. It seemed like we were close though, so we decided to keep going. And then, off in the distance, is that a sign? We must be close now. We were not. So if you're looking at a map of Pinecrest Lake here, there's the lake, and then we parked somewhere over here by the trailhead. So we walked all the way along the edge of the lake here, and then I'd estimate that sign we just saw is somewhere just past the bridge, right around, here or so. And that's where we gave up, right here at this rack. The more we hiked away from the lake, the steeper the incline became, and the slight breeze that was coming off the lake gave way to a dead 98-degree stillness that engulfed both me and Doug. As we sat in the shade of this tree, he looked at me as if to say, "Dude, why are we hiking all this way just to go get into some water when there's a perfectly good lake right over there?" And, he was right. That's better. I could do with less kids screaming, but I'll take it. After swimming and floating a while, reading a book, and taking a wonky nap on an uneven rock, it was time to head back to the car and go find a place to camp for the night. there I go, putting the RV leveling blocks underneath the car so that the car is level when I sleep in it, just to get out and assess the whole thing and realize that I should just turn the car around entirely.
Oh, that's much better. Not only is the car more level, look at that. That's much better. Much better. But it's always best to point out so that if you need to make a quick getaway for whatever reason, not that I imagine I will here, but just in case, so that you can just get up and split and not have to reverse. Yeah, this is nice. Pretty good. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put bug screens on the windows on the car. I have these for the windows and this one for the moonroof. Come on, I'll show you how to put them on. This way you have a net over your window. You can roll the window down and get some fresh air without letting all the bugs in. I really should get a set of 4 of these for all 4 of the windows so that like when I'm wild camping I can just open all the windows. But because I sleep in the back of the car, it makes more sense to just have the back windows open and leave the front ones shut. And this is the same idea, window screens, but for your moonroof. You know, because I'm sleeping in the car, my head ends up being basically right underneath this. So it's nice to have it as a vent to get some fresh air, but also still not let bugs in.
Alright, let's talk about this Wheels Feels drawer system that I got a little while ago. Here you can watch me discover that my soap and hand sanitizer have exploded due to altitude and gotten everywhere inside that carpet-lined drawer.
Cool. Great. Everything's going great. Everything's going so good.
Which gives me a good opportunity while I unpack and clean everything back here to go over some of the stuff I bring with me when I car camp, some of the updates I've made to the RAV4 since my last video about this, and my thoughts about the Wheels and Feels drawer system in general. In this drawer on the right, I keep a collapsible sink and bucket, a cutting board, a plastic bag with spices, a sponge, and other cleaning tools, usually a trash bag or 2, and a couple of magnets to hold the bag to the outside of the car. Since filming this video, I've purchased a vehicle trash can, and I've been very happy with that, but a magnet holding a trash bag to the outside of the car works just as well. Above me, you can see that I have a roll of paper towels tucked against the back window of the car, and I've attached it to the inside of the car using a small bungee cable. The purple thing with the tubing in the bottom right corner is a faucet, which I'll describe in more detail in a second. This right drawer is also where I keep the tabletop for this side of the drawer. Wheels and Feels' original design intention is for you to be able to pull out both drawers and then use these inserts as a table. I like using the right side that has a cutout for a sink, but the way you have to install the wood inserts into the drawers using these long bolts pushed into pre-drilled holes that you just kind of have to find by feel isn't very convenient. So unless I'm really in a rush or trying to be super minimal, I just use the one side for a sink and set up a folding table to cook on later. Seems like in the newer version they don't carpet the inside of the drawers, but here in version 1 I was not so lucky. One of my other complaints is that you basically had to use the drawer to contain the lid for the drawer, which seemed like a waste of space, which it also seems like they've changed in version 2, so good for them. I just kind of wish they'd figured this out, before I got this one. Anyway, back to the inside of the car. Behind the 2 sliding drawers in the platform are 2 more empty spaces to store gear, and that green plastic bin you see to the left is where I keep my food. Moving to the inside here, on the right, you can see my 35-liter Dometic fridge, and just below it is a Scepter water jug with a 3D printed lid that I bought from some guy on the internet somewhere. And that basically allows me to take that hose and connect it and run that hose all the way to the back to that USB faucet that I was mentioning earlier. Among the many other things going wrong with me setting up my camp is that the water line had been pinched by the bed platform, so that's another thing I had to undo and then reinstall. Underneath the bed platform, there's about an inch and a half or an inch and a quarter of usable space. So that's where I actually hide my solar panel, which you can see there. And that's what I use to power up the battery, which charges the fridge. Because I wanted to have access to the storage under the platform, and because my X-Bed Megamat mattress was now too tall for the inside of the car, I got a 3-inch memory foam trifold mattress, and that fits really nicely. The 1-inch difference between the two mattresses seems small, but it really changes how I experience sleeping inside the car. That's 1 inch I'm further away from the ceiling of the car when I lay down on the inside. Also, because it can fold up, it makes organizing and keeping the car clean while traveling much easier. Ultimately, I'm glad that I have this Wheels Feels bed platform and cargo drawer set up. I'm also glad that they've improved some of the things that seemed to bother me about version 1, and if I had to do it all over again, I'd buy version 2 from the get-go. Bug spray. I knew I was forgetting something. In the left drawer, I keep a couple of camping cups, my tool roll of kitchen stuff, and this one-burner combination butane/propane stove with a 6-foot extension hose so that I can run it up to the 5-pound propane tank that I have strapped to the roof of the car. Keen-eyed fans of the channel will note that I've added a 5-foot Rome Adventure Co. awning to the driver's side of the car, which is a nice step up from the King Camp awning I've had for a while now. I still have that King Camp awning, and I like it because I can add even more shade to my existing, more permanently mounted awning, and I've used it on a number of vehicles, especially when traveling. I didn't really need any kind of awning at this point, though. With the sun going down, I needed to cook dinner and get back in the car before the bugs made a quick dinner out of me. It was too hot to make a campfire anyway, and I didn't have any wood. Sometimes that's just how it goes. You're at a spot that's nice, but it's too hot to be outside, and there are just too many bugs. For lighting at night, in addition to a headlamp, I have some of these USB rechargeable magnetic work lights, but I also installed some of these trunk lights in the rear hatch of the RAV4, which have made the cooking experience and just lighting up the back of the car so much nicer. Good morning. Welcome to the inside of my car. If you look around, you can see kind of how I've set it up. Let me pull one of these covers from the light. Fridge, fan, roof nest full of dog stuff, extra layers, blankets, towels, sweatshirts. Down there is a box of food, shoes, towels. It's actually surprisingly comfortable in here. I know it seems like sleeping in a coffin. With the windows open and with this fan saves me every time. All you need is a little air movement and it'll make it so that it's not oppressive. It's about 7:30 in the morning. I'm debating whether or not I should make breakfast here or if I should just
drive to the trailhead. There's this trail called the Trail of the Gargoyles that I was going to go see. And because I didn't make it to Cleo's bath yesterday because of the heat, I'm thinking I might try to go do this one super early. Like, try to go hit this trail before the sun gets too high. And then maybe go back to the lake or find a creek or something. Doug and I have decided to forego breakfast for the time being. And we're going to drive a little bit down the road and do this trail before it gets too hot. Because I can already tell it's pretty warm. Phone says it's 103 degrees, but that can't be true. So, yeah, let's pull the covers here. Yeah, so I feel like I probably should have camped here last night. I mean, look at this place. Look at all this. The rocks, they look like, it kind of reminds me of Bryce Canyon. All the hoodoos.
Turns out this was less of a hike and more of a walk. The main attraction of this hike, the Gargoyles if you will, are about a 500-yard walk away from the trailhead. So this wasn't a very strenuous hike by any means, but it certainly was already getting very hot very early in the day. Let's go back to the car and make some breakfast.
Okay, as you can see, the top of the fridge pops off, which is cool, because then you can get at stuff really easily. I brought a couple of yogurts. I think I'm going to have, let's see, I'll have the blueberry one, and some blueberries, and then there's also some cold brews in there, and some of this, tangerine juice. Oh, baby. Blueberry boy? Blueberry boy? Another one? Good boy.
So the plan for today after this hike was to go from Trail of the Gargoyles here and then probably take Highway 108, which runs through the valley here, over to this town called Dardanelle, and then like check out the two campgrounds here, like just to see what those look like, if they're cool. And then I saw a couple other things over here further down the road, like this is like a dirt road that looks like it's next to the Stanislaus River, so I thought like, oh, maybe that looks cool. That looks like a neat place to camp. I'll go check that out. So that was kind of the plan for today, was just to like explore the area further and go for a drive. So let's hit it. As it turns out, the town of Dardanelle wasn't much to look at. There's a gas station for sale, and a general store. And that was about it. I guess maybe I'll go check out the river?
So basically I had two thoughts. I was going to either continue along 108 and then loop back around and go through Yosemite, but I don't know if I have to have a reservation to do that. And then also, I had such a good time at Pinecrest Lake yesterday that I might just go back there and like bring a floaty and some lunch, and then yeah, I don't know. I have to think about it. Yeah, I don't know. The weather looks weird. Like it looks like there's a rainstorm coming in. What do you think, Doug? We could just go back to Pinecrest Lake, loaf around in the sun all day, and then go back up to the trail of the Gargoyles and go to sleep. That might be the way. Hey, you little river rat. Douglas. Off the... Come on, off. On the pillow. I knew you were gonna do that, you silly goon. Okay, so this didn't pan out. Sometimes you look at a map, you see things that you might think might be good, and then it just doesn't pan out. That's okay.
Turns out the spot I saw on the map was behind a locked gate, and where I was parked right now was basically inside of a trailer park, so...
You know, sometimes you can't win them all. So I made the decision to go back to Pinecrest because it was a shorter drive back than it would have been to go all the way to Mono Lake and then drive through Yosemite tomorrow, which I think you have to have a reservation for, but I don't have enough sufficient internet to be able to look that up. So I just decided to go back to the lake because it's probably going to be really nice there again anyway. And then Doug and I can have some lunch, float around and play in the water. And then I'll probably either just go back to where I slept last night or maybe find another spot up in the same part of that mountain. But now I'm stuck behind this wet paint truck going 11 miles an hour, which has been pretty cool. So I got 18 more miles till Pinecrest. We'll see if these guys pull over for me at some point.
I see trapped over here. Pick it up. What? You know what? Give me the stick. You guys can use your hands and we'll just wash our hands really well. We could cheat and ask this man if he has trash.
That was like a trail. Do you have any
I'm teasing.
I might actually have something.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Richard, did you pick up that soda can? Yeah. Good job.
What soda can?